Okay. حياكم الله وإياكم، أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا جميعا. Let me post the link. طيب، الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. حياكم الله وإياكم، أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا. Welcome everyone to our 6th lecture in this course, the Arabic Conversational course. And today, inshallah ta'ala, we're going to recap a little bit regarding what we've done last time on Saturday. And the theory side of things, or the lecture, is going to be short, as it normally is on Tuesday, so that we can spend more time on the workshops, inshallah ta'ala, practicing and perfecting our skills. طيب. Alright. Share my screen. Second. Okay, we are live class 6, and the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to recap what we've done last time. So let me share the WooClap link so we can post a few questions on WooClap, inshallah. Okay, the link is in the chat. If anybody asks for it, please repost it. Sometimes some people, they join late. Okay, the first question is going to be, last time we talked about the things that a verb needs, okay? So we knew about the fa'il. Every verb needs a fa'il, a subject, or a doer, صح? But there's also something else that we mentioned, that sometimes the verbs are in need of. So what's the other thing some verbs, not all verbs, need in order to in order for the sentence to be complete? So there's this other component. If it's not there, then the sentence will not be complete. What's the other component? Specifically to do with verbs. You can write it in Arabic, you can write it in English. Now, verbs object, مفعول به. Okay? Okay, now I want all of you to give me a time when it happened. No. The time when it happened, or the tense if you like, it's already there embedded within the verb. So whatever verb you're going to have in the Arabic language, doesn't matter what verb it is, it's automatically gonna give the meaning of tense. So that's what we said when we define verbs. Verbs are words that define a specific time and they denote the taking place of an action, right? So no, it's not the time when it happened. That's already embedded within the verb. Rather, it is مفعول به, or object. Okay? Give me an example, okay, of a verb that requires a مفعول به. Give me an example of a verb that requires, let's just say, an object. Between brackets, مفعول به. We want to get used to using the Arabic terminology, okay? مفعول به. Okay? So give me an example. Please mind the try to give it to me in Arabic. I want, write it in Arabic, or نعم. So I want as in أريد, that needs an object. True. أنا أريد. You don't even need to say أنا, you know that, right? When you say أريد, it's already understood that it's أنا. So to say أنا أريد is a bit redundant. Okay? There are situations when أنا أريد makes sense, but generally speaking, we don't say أنا أريد or أنت تريد or أنت تريدي. We don't say this. We just say أريد, تريد, يريد. We just stick to that because the meaning is already there. أسكن. Okay. No. أسكن is not a verb that needs an object. Okay? أسكن is not a verb, which in Arabic we call it فعل متعدي. In English it's called transitive verb. أسكن is not a transitive verb, it's not فعل متعدي. يشرب, yes, to drink. أشرب حليبا, I drink milk. Okay. So knowing if a verb is متعدي, i.e. it needs an object, or if it's لازم, i.e. it doesn't need an object, is very important. It's very important. Okay. Now I want you to give me an example of a verb that doesn't require. So فعل لازم we call it. Okay, give me an example of a verb that does not require. I wanted to correct example and then I was typing in Arabic. Allah musta'an. Okay. Give me an example of a verb that does not require an object. Eat. لا. لا. I mean, آكل. In Arabic, آكل, or I'm eating, it needs an object. What are you eating? Okay. Maybe not always, but it's definitely one of those verbs that definitely can do with an object. زيد شرب. Okay. يتوضأ. No. Making wudu. Making wudu doesn't require an object. That's correct. Yeah, sorry, that's correct. Okay. يتوضأ doesn't require an object. يمشي, to walk, doesn't require an object. أنام, to sleep, doesn't require an object. أحسنتم. يلعب. Yes, so these are good examples. أعمل, يصلي, all of this is correct. Okay. ممتاز. Okay, so finally, let me write a sentence and I want you to tell me where the مفعول به is. Okay. Okay. محمد رجل مسلم يحب الله ورسوله. Okay, so Muhammad is a Muslim man who loves Allah and His Messenger. Where is the مفعول به in this sentence, or the object of the verb? طبعا you need to know where the verb is first, huh? Which one of these is the verb? يحب, this is the verb, to love. Okay, Allah and His Prophet. Allah wa Rasulahu. Okay, يحب is the verb, it's not the object. Allah wa Rasulahu, messenger. Allah and His Prophet. Okay, أحسنتم. Grammatically speaking, strictly grammatically speaking, then the مفعول به is Allah. Okay, يحب الله. And ورسوله is a conjunction, معطوف. And it takes the same i'rab as Allah because it is added, or conjunction, or I don't know how you put it, معطوف, added onto Allah. So it takes the same ruling. Okay. So in Arabic, when we normally do grammar, we just define one word as being the object, and then there could be another word, another 10 words for that matter, who are all added onto that verb, i.e. they take the same ruling. Okay. So yes, Allah wa Rasulahu, these are Allah is مفعول به, and we say, or this word Allah grammatically is مفعول به, and ورسوله is معطوف. Okay, ممتاز. Okay, so that was a quick recap of what we did last time when it comes to verb objects, and we done that because in the book now, Unit 3, we have a lot of these examples. أريد مشاهدة الشقة. أريد مشاهدة الشقة. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you the one of the conversations, and I want you to point out any مفعول بهs within the conversation that you can find. Okay? So one moment. Okay, so we're going to go to one of the conversations, and I'm going to read it out loud if you want, and tell me which words here are مفعول به. Okay? طيب, 1 second. Okay, so we're going to go for the second. So just type it in WooClap. Okay. Type مفعول به in the dialogue. Okay, so you can write in WooClap inshallah. I'm going to read out the dialogue. Okay, so we have السلام عليكم وعليكم السلام. أريد شقة من فضلك. لدينا شقة جميلة. كم غرفة في الشقة؟ في الشقة 5 غرف. في أي دور الشقة or شقة؟ لا شقة. Some people say شقة. في أي دور الشقة؟ الشقة في الدور الخامس. أريد مشاهدة الشقة. تفضل ادخل. هذه هي الشقة. هذه شقة جميلة. So how many مفعول به do we come across? How many مفعول به do you come across? Somebody repost the WooClap link. Okay. 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 شقة. شقة مشاهدة. Yes, 2. We had 2. أريد شقة and أريد مشاهدة الشقة. So these are مفعول بهs in this particular example. Okay, ممتاز. Okay, so that was a quick recap. In terms of supplementary vocabulary, then this week we said was all about the 7 days of the week. So we have يوم الأحد, Sunday. يوم الاثنين. يوم الثلاثاء. يوم الأربعاء. يوم الخميس. يوم الجمعة. and يوم السبت. If you pay attention to these words, if you like, days of the week, you'll find that from يوم الأحد until يوم الخميس is basically counting from 1 to 5. So الأحد, yes, أحد also means 1. Okay. يوم الاثنين, اثنين means 2. يوم الثلاثاء is close to 3. يوم الأربعاء is close to 4. يوم الخميس is similar to يوم الخمسة, 5. And then we have يوم السبت and يوم الجمعة, يوم السبت. Okay? طيب. So that's why here in these countries Sunday is the first day of the week. يوم الأحد. ممتاز. Do all of you know those words? Okay, so someone asked an important question here, which is, isn't مشاهدة not a verb to see? مشاهدة is what we call مصدر. It's what we call a verbal noun. So it's actually, grammatically, it's a noun. Okay? And it denotes a verb, i.e. seeing. Okay, so this is similar to those words in English that end with an ing. Okay, so if I say, for example, I love cooking food, I love cooking food, then cooking here, it's not a verb. Okay, it gives the meaning of the verb, which is the act of cooking, but I'm not saying that I am cooking now, or I cooked earlier, I'm going to cook in the later on. La. It doesn't give you, it's basically a verb minus the time. Okay, and the action. So the action hasn't happened at a specific time. So it's not a verb, because again, when we defined a verb, we defined it very precisely. It is a word that denotes an action that took place at a specific time. So when you say أريد مشاهدة الشقة, I want to see the shaqqa, or more literally translation would be I want the seeing of the shaqqa, then you haven't seen the shaqqa yet. You want that action to happen, which is that you see the shaqqa, but that action hasn't took place. It hasn't took place. So you're not basically communicating the happening of the verb. You're talking about the act of seeing the shaqqa. This is something that you want. Okay, same thing as when I say I love cooking, أحب الطبخ, I love cooking, then this means what? That I love the act of cooking, doesn't mean I've cooked or I'm cooking. Okay, so this is what we call in English a verbal noun. Some they call it gerund as well, one of the two. But in Arabic it's called masdar, and it's actually what the nouns are taken, the verbs. Some scholars say that the verbs are derived from their masdar. Okay, and some they say no, the masdar is derived from the verb. Whichever way it is. صح? There is a very strong connection between the two, absolutely. But one is a noun, one is a verb. Okay, but the meaning is the same. Seeing, cooking, driving, okay? To drive, they're still the same, okay? طيب. So مشاهدة would be مفعول به because of the fact that it's an ism. Of course, verbs can't be مفعول به. Okay, these rulings that we're talking about, they're specific to nouns. So we've done the recap, supplementary vocab. I think it's pretty straightforward. We're gonna round off with a related grammar concept, okay, which is fairly important, okay, which we have been exposed to in this particular unit, okay, which is the adjectives. Okay, what are adjectives? Okay, so going back to the actual conversation, then we have when he says, for example, لدينا شقة جميلة. لدينا شقة جميلة. Okay, let's write that down. لدينا, or let's just write the word شقة جميلة. Okay, so this word over here, what is it? Okay, it's an adjective. Jamila is an adjective. It's basically another noun that describes this noun, or grammatically speaking, it modifies, they say. Okay, so what kind of shaqqa do you want? What kind of apartment do you want? I want an apartment that is beautiful. Shaqqatan jamila. Okay, and adjectives are really, really important in a language. As a matter of fact, without adjectives, language would be very boring. Okay, everything would be the same. Okay, so how many shaqqas or apartments come in many different shapes, forms and sizes? You have shaqqatan jamila, a beautiful one. You have shaqqatan wasi'ah, and a spacious apartment. You have shaqqatan dayiqa, a tight one. You have shaqqatan ghaliya, expensive one. You have shaqqatan rakhisa, a cheap one. So there are many different adjectives that you can use in your language to give more meaning and to speak, more in a richer way. Okay, there's a few things we need to know here. A few things. Number one, Since Jamila is a noun, then all of the features of nouns also apply to it. Okay. Now there are 4 features nouns have. Who can remember them? We might have mentioned 3 so far. What are the features nouns have? Who can remember them? What are the features that nouns have? Jins? No. No, I'm talking about 4 grammatical features every single noun has to have. Okay? And I cannot overstate the importance of knowing these features. Very, very important. Okay, this is what makes a noun, and in order to use the language properly, you have to be aware of these features. And we said last time, they're like boxes you can tick if you like. Okay, they're like boxes you can tick. Every noun has these features, and they have one of a few options within each feature if you like. Okay, so for example, if you go to a cafeteria, you want to buy a cup of coffee, right? Then you can either have it with sugar or without sugar. You can either have it with milk or without milk. You can either have it hot or cold. Yeah, so these are options that you have. Same thing applies to nouns. So one person said nouns are mu'rab. Yes, they could be mu'rab or mabni. So they have i'rab. Okay, no problem. Okay, what else? What else? i'rab, jins, adad, wasi'at. You mean صفة? Feminine, masculine, singular, dual, plural. Okay, we got 2 there. Person, gender, and number. Naam, spot on. Barakallah feek. Person, no. Person belongs to pronouns. Specifically. Not all nouns. Okay? So let me tell you the features that a noun has. Okay? Right. Please pay attention. This is extremely important. Okay? Noun features. Okay. We have number 1. This is the most important one, but we're going to cover it later, okay? Definiteness. Okay? But we'll cover that later, okay? Which is, a noun can either be definite or indefinite. One of the 2. Okay? Either definite or indefinite. There's nothing in between. That's one. That's a complicated one. We have to cover that later, but it's the most important one as well. But we'll talk about that one later, okay? One that you are all aware of is gender. Gender. Male or female. Okay? Those are 2 options. Okay? And also number. Okay, number. I.e., it could be singular, dual, or plural when it comes to Arabic. You got those 3. Okay? And finally, what do we have? Case. Or if you like, i'rab. Okay? So every noun has, some kind of i'rab. Okay? It's either marfu' or mansub or majroor. It's one of those 3. It has to have one of those 3. Or it could be mabni, i.e. it doesn't have i'rab. Could be one of those 4 options, okay? Now, why do I mention this? I mention this because when it comes to adjectives, in Arabic it's also called sifa. It's got 2 names in Arabic. You can either call it sifa or you can call it na'at. Both the same. Sifa or na'at. Okay, let's just call it sifa now. Sifa and mawsoof. Okay? Sifa and mawsoof. The mawsoof, here we have 2 words. This one is mawsoof. This is the noun that has been modified by the adjective. This is the thing that is being described. And Jamila is the description or the characteristic or the adjective. Okay? So we call this one mawsoof and we call this one sifa. Okay? طيب. So why do I mention this? Why do I mention the noun features? I mention this because when it comes to adjectives and the noun that they modify, yes, there has to be something we call agreement. The sifa has to agree with the noun in all of these 4 things. Please pay attention to this. This is extremely important. Okay? It has to agree with the noun in all of these 4 things. Okay. Let's apply that to our sentence over here. لدينا شقة جميلة. صح؟ Let's add the إعراب. شقة جميلة. Okay? Alright. So let's check if it ticks all 4 boxes or not. Okay? So we have definiteness. This one is indefinite. Okay? And so is this one. Alright. We'll give you that. Gender. This one is feminine and this one is feminine. Beautiful. We'll give you that too. This one is singular, شقة, and this one's singular, جميلة. ممتاز. We'll give you that as well. This one is مرفوع, as in it's got ضم at the end, and so is this one. We'll give you that as well. Can you see? There has to be agreement. Okay? There has to be agreement. Okay, now it's your turn. Now it's your turn. I'm going to write another sentence. Yes, I'm going to change the موصوف, and I want you to give me the correct صفة. It can be the same صفة, which means beautiful, but write it the correct way, how it should be written. Okay? Okay, let's write it down then. Right above here. Let's say we have أريد بيتا. Okay? يلا, I want you to complete the rest. أريد بيتا. Use the word, same word. This word over here, I want the same word. But make sure it agrees with the موصوف in everything else. Let me pause the and clap. Let's call it fill in the blank. Okay, 1 second. I want you to see the answer. First time I'm doing fill in the blanks a bit. Okay, go. There we go. Please ignore the order of the word. The blank is on the wrong side because it's Arabic. So أريد بيتا. How would you put there? Okay, we have كبيرا. I said use the same. I did say use the same. The same word, which is جميل. Okay, so we have كبيرا جميلة جميلا كبيرا جميل. Okay, so the correct answer is what? The one that alhamdulillah most of you went for. Okay, which is بيتا جميلا. بيتا جميلا. Okay, now some of you said what? Some of you said جميلة. That's wrong. Why? Because bait is masculine, so جميلا also has to be masculine. Some of you said جميلة or جميل. That's also wrong. بيتا, it also have to have 2 fathahs at the end. جميلا. Okay, so basically this is something that you need to remember in Arabic. The sifa has to follow the mawsuf. There has to be an agreement. النعت يتبع المنعوت. Okay, very important rule. Now, why is it so important? Well, it'll become clear once we start learning about Arabic sentences and how Arabic sentences function. Okay, if you make mistakes in this, what's going to happen is basically people won't understand what you're talking about. If there's no agreement, then they can't really tell which word this is an adjective for. They can't even tell if it's even an adjective. They can't even tell. Okay, so this is really, really important. Okay, so this is one of the things we wanted to cover today, which is adjectives. Okay, we've only done one so far in this unit, but inshallah in the future units we're going to be covering more adjectives, and then inshallah you'll be more confident to use the suitable adjective for whatever you want to say. So we have, and I think I have already told you to check out one of the themes that talks about adjectives. There's one of the themes out there with a lot of different adjectives. Okay, so واسع ضيق جميل قبيح غالي رخيص كبير صغير, all of these are different adjectives and you need to find a way to use them. But for now, the thing that you need to be aware of is the agreement, and I'll tell you what you're going to make a mistake on for the most part. Masculine and feminine, you're still going to make a lot of mistakes there. Okay, we haven't done plural yet, but if I were to say, for example, I want 2 beautiful houses, then what would I say? I would say أريد بيتان جميلان. You see, it follows it. Okay, it follows the if you like the موصوف. طيب, to round off, let's do a quick vocabulary checkup, if you like, or quiz. See who has been revising and learning his vocab. Yes, and I've said it many times before and I'll keep on saying it. What will make or break your journey when it comes to learning Arabic, or one of the things that will definitely make or break it for you, is vocabulary. Okay, vocabulary, I cannot overstate it. Okay, if you want to speak fluently and you want to recall these words in different situations, you have to know them like your name. You have to be able to recall these words whenever you need to, and there's no other way to do that than to literally rote memorize them and practice as much as you can. So today we're going to do a checkpoint. Today we're going to do one called checkpoint. Okay, and we're going to start with 12 random words. So please join us. You can type in this code, or you can scan this QR code, or you can click on the link that I've just posted in the chat. Okay, Ustad, why does after uridu the noun gets an alif at the end? For example, baytan. This is something we've covered in the Quran reading course. It has to do with writing Arabic, okay, and the way Arabic is written. So we say baytan mainly because if we were to stop there, we would pronounce the alif and we would elongate the fatha. So for example, you have in the Quran, you have, for example, إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا. Why do we say أفواجا? Because there's an alif there. But if we were to continue and not stop there, then we would pronounce a 2 fathas. We would say رأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح أفواجا فسبح. We would pronounce the 2 fathas. So this has more to do with how Arabic is written. So with 2 fathas, fathatan, you always get an alif. Always. 2 dhammas, no. 2 kasras, no. But 2 fathas is always accompanied by an alif, so that it can facilitate the lengthening of the fatha if you do decide to stop there. And there's many surahs that you're aware of in the Quran that end with at the end, because the last word has a fatha. Okay? Alright. Shall we start? Shall we start the activity? I'll give it 5 more seconds. طيب. Okay, let's go for it. One of the players is disconnected. If that student wants to rejoin the game, ask him or her to refresh the page. You can wait here for students to reconnect before starting the game. Okay, so anyone that gets disconnected, all you need to do is refresh the page, inshallah. Okay? People are getting connected and disconnected all the time. But we'll start anyway. Start the game. Bismillah. Okay, we have a word here, heater. Okay? And as a matter of fact, hold on. Sorry, I'm going to stop 1 second. Because I normally like for you to choose the Arabic and not the English. So I'm going to swap the terms so that you get the English and you choose the Arabic. I think that's more beneficial. Okay? So sorry about that. Everybody can rejoin using this link. I could have just changed that over here actually. There's no need for me to leave. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so I don't know what I said, but I want you to have the English and then find the Arabic. That's better. Okay. طيب, 5 seconds, we'll start. 5. We got 11 people so far. We had more before, so yalla, join us. Okay. Is that how it was, يعني? 1 minute, let me get it right. I want you to get the English word and then you choose the Arabic. Is that how it was?
Actually, it was the way it was.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, then let me change. Okay, I changed the options then. Alright. At least I learned from this experience that I don't need to restart the whole thing. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's start. Okay, let's start. Okay, so he enters. I find the time is a bit too long. Okay. Okay, 10 of you got it right. Most of you got it right. 2 students got it wrong. Okay, no problem. Next one. Number. I think we're going to do one more question and then we're just going to do competition. I think competition is more exciting. We can do something like this maybe at the beginning. Okay, most of you got it right. Okay. Anyway, time's up anyway. For those of you that want to go and pray, Maghrib in the UK, you should go and pray, inshallah ta'ala. I think the vocab is quite easy. If anything, we can do a quick competition for those of you that want to hang around, that don't need to pray. And inshallah ta'ala, at 9:45, 15 minutes from now exactly, we're going to start the workshops, okay? And we'll do a quick round on Quizlet, a competition for those of you that who don't need to pray right now, okay? Yeah, so those of you that need to pray, go and pray, inshallah, get ready for Salah. That's the new link. If it doesn't work, I would advise you to download the Quizlet app. Probably be easier. And if you do get the app, you just type in that number, 550638. Oh, seems like I posted the link in private. Let me post the link again. There's the link. Okay, we got about 21 people in the chat, but not all of you seem to be joining Quizlet. Don't be afraid, just join inshallah. Okay, give 5 seconds before we start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Type, let's start. So, everybody's been given a random animal name. Let's go for it. Hedgehogs is ahead. Wow. Hedgehogs are beating ostriches. Never expected that. Sonic's the hedgehog, eh? You got Sonics in class, mashallah. Unbelievable. Hedgehog is winning. Mashallah. Okay, let's play again, inshallah. Hedgehog's won. Okay, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, unicorns, mashallah. It's doing good. Who's gonna win next? Hedgehog is ahead again. Mashallah. This is a close race, a very close one. Wolves and camels are catching up. Okay, mashallah, mashallah. Alright. Yallah, third time. Let's see. 3 in a row or not. Bismillah. 3, 2, 1, start. Generally speaking, it is quite a close race though, mashallah. Oh, Hedgehog's made a mistake. Okay, so who's gonna win then? Inshallah. Ostriches. Ah, this is a close one. Wolves and camels are doing good again, mashallah. I think camels are gonna win, mashallah. Mumtaz. Okay, that was fun. Barakallah feekum. Okay, inshallah, have a little break, 10-minute break, and you'll find the workshop links in Telegram for those of you that are going to join us. هذا والله أعلم وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد. Are there any questions? طيب بارك الله فيكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.